All right, we'll filter in here. Grab your seats. Thank you for attending Explore. Thank you, vBrownBag, having me again here. Today, for the next few minutes here, we're going to talk about Aria Operations and Benchmark Compliance, right? Building on the foundation that is provided. My name's Matt Puthoff. I'm a staff technical adoption manager here at VMware. So we're going to jump in. I'm assuming you guys are here to talk about compliance and how Aria Operations helps us out with compliance, right? So we're all in the right spot? All right, good. So where to start, right? You fire up Aria Operations, you click on the compliance button, and it puts you to our page here, right? This is where we're going to get our hands dirty, right? We have all the VMware benchmark compliances. Spoiler alert, they're very much like these. They just call them something different. But I'm assuming you guys here are kind of here for this type of stuff, right? Because you got risks and audit and compliance teams kind of breathing down your neck and saying, where's our stance at, right? Have you guys dove into those to solve some of those problems yet? How is it working for you? Okay, good. All right, if it's good, I'm done. No, just kidding. So once we get into the compliance here in VROPS, right, depending on which version you're at, you notice that we have our data sources across the top so we can show compliance across multiple clouds, right? Notice a theme that's going on this week here, multi-cloud. Kind of shows our stance based on where we're at. My experience here and the work that I've done with a customer of mine, we were focusing on CIS benchmarks, so I'm going to kind of dive into those a little bit here. But compliance alert list, right? It's good to know that we can do the drop down, right? We can know by criticality, by definition. I'm a personal fan of object type, right? And this controls our alert list over here. And I'm sure as you guys know that you experience it, you drill down in the alert list. Right, for this one is saying, hey, your ESX host is out of compliance, and there's the list of compliances. There's the symptoms that your host is out on. So that is essentially becoming your remediation list, your punch list, right? Whatever you want to do, right? When you remediate this host, then you're going to do a host profile, or if you're using vSphere 8U2, right? You're creating one of those configuration profiles to push out across those hosts, right? So we can do it all in a relatively streamlined manner, right? Is this where everybody's at in their journey? Or sort of, okay. But you're saying, hey, but I need more, right? My compliance team's coming to me about different compliances. They need reports in their spreadsheet format. We need to know just this one symptom, right? Those questions that you guys are getting asked, right, from your compliance teams. All right, yeah, so we can get into a custom compliance, but still as the way CIS benchmark, vSphere hardening, as the way you download the management pack, it's still not getting you because that management alert is coming from an object type, right? Okay, so how do we get a little bit more granular? So if you look at the CIS benchmark or VMware security benchmarks, right, you notice that you'll have the 4 type of alerts, one for host, one for a VM, one's for maybe 3. One's for the virtual distributed switches and configurations on those virtual distributed switches. But you'll notice underneath each one of those alerts, you'll have a whole number of symptoms. Like CIS benchmark for host has 64 different symptoms that it looks for. Right? Do you need all 64 of those? Nope, but that's where you can collaborate with your compliance and your audit or your risk team, depending on what you guys call them, and work through that checklist. Because a lot of times those compliance teams are required to put in their documentation to auditors, depending on what industry you're in, and say, hey, we check for these CIS benchmarks. Lots of times it's like, hey, we just want to do the critical ones, right? So that's 8. So do we really need 64 in there? No, but as you break those out, so what you'll have to do is take each one of those symptoms underneath CIS benchmark for the host and break those symptoms out to alert. Is it a lot of legwork? Yes. Is it very tedious? Yes. But after you get that legwork done, you can present back to your compliance teams, on a particular alert, on a particular object over a period of time, right? And you can create those custom alerts and create those custom reports where you can say, hey, this symptom on this object, and a timestamp. And that's the type of collateral these teams are looking for. So, is it worth the time? Yes. And again, this is coming from a project that I worked with a large financial corporation on, and we worked through breaking all those out and putting in the custom coding from a CIS benchmark perspective, from a custom coding from the internal risk system that they were loading these into, and we were able to break all that stuff out. In there, we also were able to create the report that they then alerted into, and then obviously the next step is to leverage the Aria for Operations API to then automatically pull that information out instead of having to email reports around. So with that, what are the benefits of doing that legwork and breaking all that stuff out is the granularity that the audit and the risk team needed to essentially check that box, right? We were able to break out, and I'm just going to use this as an example, SSH settings, right? Because that's always a fun one that we get tagged on. Basically, we created an alert on that particular symptom, and then when that symptom triggered, if that alert wasn't actually remediated within a 5-day period, the report was generated, and the report went right into the risk system. So the whole idea is, we have that 5-day buffer from an operations standpoint to work with our compliance standpoint or compliance teams to move through that, right? It actually gets you to collaborate, right? We don't like to talk to the networking team. We don't like to talk to the DNS team. We definitely don't want to talk to the auditors, right, or the compliance teams. But when you have that collaboration and you can kind of show them that granularity, it makes that relationship a lot less contentious. Granular reporting, right? Because they're always going to say, this is what we tell the auditors what we're reporting on. This is how many times that triggered in the last year, and it was remediated. And Aria Operations can become that point of record, right? And then obviously the next step to coming after that is, now that we broke out all the symptoms down into up into alerts, we can then take a custom script and add that in your alert action. Or if you guys leverage Orchestrator, you can use the Orchestrator, and it has a lot of the findings that you find in CIS Benchmark and vSphere Security are already built in orchestrations in Orchestrator. So when that alert would flag, you could set Orchestrator to go out there and say, hey, shut down that SSH host, or reconfigure to the NTP to where we need to go. So I talked really, really fast, and I'm probably way ahead of schedule here. So I will share this with you. This link will take you out to a LinkedIn post, and it has 3 videos that we leveraged very heavily. One being a very old one by John Diaz that goes through the VRO stuff. The other 2 links goes into how we can customize it and break those symptoms out into alerts. So I will be around here on stage to answer any questions that you guys may have, and kind of dive into the story more that I have with the customer. So thank you. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the session.